This hat actually my wife made, this Lulu hat, and it was when I first started playing, Lulu was pretty much the only champion I played in support, so I want to wear it while I'm playing.
It's a good choice on hat, Bubba Dub. If I had one, I would rock it too. Over the headphones, doesn't matter. It's a good choice.
Absolutely. Well, welcome back, you guys, to the 2014 Sprint Promotion Tournament, live from our studio in Los Angeles, California. Before we get to Game 3 between EG and Determined, I want to get your take on the first two matches, guys, because what seemed very apparent for me, especially in Game 2, is that EG seems to synergize like a team that's been around for a long time.
Exactly. These guys really came in and they've been individually making plays, but the whole team is able to follow up on it. Whether it's Crepo flashing and starting a fight, Snoopy running in and charging through, everything that EG does has follow through, and it's always seeming to work for these guys. Everything they do tends to work out.
The play that really sold it for me, that EG is working as a team and not individuals, and like to be determined, is the play at the Baron River in the middle of the game, in which some went for one guy, the other ones tried to save Renekton, and in the end, EG made the one unified call and was able to take that fight, I think, 3-0. And seeing that play right there, you know that EG is playing as a team, while the other ones are playing as more individuals and aren't really necessarily making the correct thing, because you can't take on the team playing as 5 individuals players. You need to be one unit that plays and makes the same call and follows it through.
Yeah, if we have the synergy on one side, we do feel that Determined on the other side, can I say, is underperforming?
I really think so. Now, in some cases, you've got players like Westrice who've done very, very well. I think he's won lane both times he's played so far, whereas Arthlon's actually been really suffering. He's lost his lane both times. The Mundo game was really, really rough. This game as well in Oriana, he didn't have a very good time of it either. And even beyond just laning, though, I think champ select as well has been really awkward for these guys. If you think back to Game 1, they've got 2 guys for resets. They've got Kha'Zix and Jinx is so good at following up on Burst with the Execute Ultimate. And then for their other solo, they run Mundo, who wants to fight like really long duration, non-bursty team fights, and so they're even missing champion on champion synergy, not even just player on player synergy.
Do you feel that way too, that they have a mismatch from champion select on?
Yeah, I agree. You know, coming into this game, you know Arthlon as one of the players that likes to bring innovation to mid lane. He often goes into side lanes and plays bruisers. Like, we've seen him play Elise middle lane. That's not something that anybody pulls off. And playing against Ziggs, I feel like they need to do something against it, because Ziggs is such a strong lane bully right now that it's really limiting Arthlon's champion pools of unconventional picks, and it sort of restrains the team as to what they want to play. So I think if they want to move on to the next game, not only do they have to do something about Ziggs so that they can get comfortable with their own champion picks, they need to lift up their spirit. So if they have a coach or they have somebody that can say, you know, we're still in this, you know, it's best of 3. We got to win 3 games in a row. We've done this before. Like, get back into it, because if they keep playing how they're playing right now, I don't see them being able to take down EG.
Yeah, it is actually a trademark of our promotion series that teams come back from being 0-2 down, so maybe that can happen. Freak, what do you think are maybe bans or picks that to be determined would have to prioritize in order to do that?
I think one really important one, as you mentioned, Crumbs, is that Dr. Mundo. I think it's throwing a really big wrench into everything. Inox has been playing extremely well at holding onto his lane and then making the teleport plays. I think he's been doing a much better job than his counterpart in Game 1. That was an underperforming Arthlon on teleport. And then Game 2, it's been Inox making a lot of plays just by himself as the only teleport on the map. I think that's a big one. You've got to, that one as well, right? You limit the Inox champion pool. You maybe get rid of Dr. Mundo, because I don't think it worked very well for Determined, but I think you also limit out the Ziggs, and then you kind of deal with the rest of the picks, and then you kind of play from there.
Okay, so you guys, what do you think? Is Determined going to come back, or will EG close it out?
I want to say that Determined can put up a fight. I think they definitely have it in them to go for at least one more game to beat EG in one of the games. Now, personally, it takes quite a bit of a miracle for them to be able to win 3 games in a row, seeing how Evil Geniuses is playing. I could see them taking 1 or 2 games off, but I don't see Determined to be able to win the series.
Yeah, right now it seems like the teams that have started doing very well have continued doing well. EG looks more on form. I think they'll take the 3rd game.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. And now it's time to check out our favorite answers to our second Twitter question of the day. Of course, earlier today, we asked you which North American teams would you like to see win their promotion tournament series and why. And here's what you had to say. The first one is from M. Walters40. It says, Curse for sure. They're a solid team, and they finish 4th a lot, but I'd like to see Curse break their curse.
You know, going into this Curse versus Cognitive matchup, the fans that Curse has are not really fans of this new lineup. We haven't seen these players play together in competitive play ever, actually. We have I Will Dominate, who was previously on Team Dignitas and was just back into the scene right now in the jungle. We have Quas, a relatively new player to the scene who was on what is now known as the Walking Zed. And then we have Zekin as support with Voyboy switching roles. So it's a really new team that I think is very ambitious because they all really want this and it's their lives right now. I think the ambition that Curse has is something that some of the current LCS teams lack and most amateur teams do have. And I think that's going to get them the edge over Cognitive in the series.
Okay, that's a matchup we're going to see play out on Sunday, of course. The second tweet is from @BowHunterX. I want to see EG in the LCS just to see how the Snoop crew will do against America's best teams and especially against Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, these guys are doing very, very well. And when we talked about the matchup before it even started, we said, you know, will Pobelter hold up? He's been kind of hit and miss. Inox, not a ton of experience on him. He's doing incredibly well. And the other three, they're looking like the experts they are. EG looks really good.
Absolutely. And then the final one is from @GordonRamsey-Lol. I wonder if he's good at cooking. I want to see Determined Gaming making it into the LCS because I want to see more of Arthalon's unconventional picks.
I kind of agree with that one as well. It'd be nice to see him. I like the players that do crazy, innovative things. It's fun to see the dudes who break the mold and say, actually, here's going to be the new thing, and people have to deal with it. I want to see the innovation in this series. It might be the thing that keeps his team alive, and we'll see if it comes out.
Yeah, it might be the key to the game for Determined. Now, remember to keep hitting us up with your answers. We're at LOL Esports, and remember to use the hashtag LCS. And now let's send it back over to Pastry Time and Kobe for the Game 3 call.
Thanks, Shocks. It is time for Game 3 between the Evil Geniuses and Determined Gaming. And with one more win, Snoopy, Crepo, and EG will earn a spot in the North American Spring Split.
Coming into this series, we talked a lot about Crepo and Snoopy, but the two solo laners have really showed up here. I mean, they've had huge impacts. Pobelter in that last game, Baron Steel, you got to mention, and Inox has been constantly winning his lane. So really, really good plays from both of those guys. Last game, Inox was 12, 4, and 20. Or that's both combined. That was a little much.
That's pretty good.
I'll combine the stats from both games.
I mean, Snoopy as well had great stats. He barely died in either of the two games we've seen already. And Determined, a team we really expected to show up here, just haven't seemed to do it, unfortunately. I mean, Broken Shard died to his own red. And I had a pretty interesting bit of trivia about the Baron Steel, actually, as well.
Yeah, so looking back, I was like, oh man, that's such good synergy between Pobelter and Crepo, lining up the Tibbers with the Ziggs ultimate to steal that Baron. You know, talk about working as a team and communication. That's amazing. But also, since he put the Tibbers right on top of the Baron, Broken Shard actually smited the Tibbers instead of Baron. And so that they didn't even have a chance to grab that one.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of that really creative play from Crepo as well. They were consistently denying lanterns from Bubba as well. I mean,
yeah.
You talk about how good Thresh is as a champion, how many plays he can make. Just a little bit of ingenuity there to really just deny so many lanterns. And the evacuation was not there for Determine when they needed it. And they need a lot right now. They're 0-2 down in this best of 5, and they were very confident coming in.
Yeah, I mean, doing a very good job body blocking. They've also been jumping from skill shots very well. It just seems like this cohesion that people were wondering what was going to be there. EG definitely are playing as a team, as Crumb said.
And they told us, you know, we've been practicing. We've really been scrimming hard and getting it together, and they really have, Kobe. They have come up bigger than almost anyone, I think, thought of it, except the fans, by the way. They were right.
The
they
fans
were
dead on. Everyone else was like, oh, the scrims, the scrims. EG not looking too hot in the scrims, but the fans knew. 77% voted them to win.
Yep. And they've got a lot of fans as well, especially Crepo. Who doesn't love Crepo? And with the way he's been playing, I think his team probably loves him at this point as well.
All right, so Determined, though. We're going to look at Determined Gaming because they should not give up. We've already had people come back from, 0-2 deficits. Determined Gaming definitely still have a good chance in this one. There's a reason that everyone was talking them up coming into this. They're a very strong team, and they can pull it back. Like Crumbs was talking about, the innovation that could come from either Arthalon or from West Rice could easily turn the tides here.
Yeah, and again, this was the team that nobody wanted to play against. They were picked last of the 3 teams, the 3 challenger teams that could potentially be played against here. And for all the hype, they just haven't quite got it together for whatever reason. I mean, a lot of the challenger teams don't feel like cohesive teams, right? They don't feel like teams that have enough experience together to really play well as a team. And Determined are not that team. They're not supposed to be. They've been together for quite a while. Been playing around the challenger scene. They've looked probably the most cohesive of a lot of the challenger teams I've seen. It's just not happening today.
I think that you know, if they can get the Pix bans down this time, ban out the Ziggs, and not let Inox get the Mundo, I think those are maybe the 2 most important things. Keep throwing bans at Crepo. He's going to make plays on whatever champion he gets, so I don't think they want to focus that anymore. But I think that last ban that they missed and only having 2 bans in the last game actually really did hurt them a lot.
It seemed to. I mean, that was the thing, as you mentioned.
So don't talk during pauses.
No, don't talk during pauses. Losing a ban could potentially cost you your LCS slot here as well. That's the predicament that Determined Gaming find themselves in at this point. So we're talking about Champion Select. We think Determined are going to go this way with the bans in terms of these are the champions they want to be hitting. They should hit Pobelter Ziggs. At least force him to play something else if you're going to lose. You need to see what else he can play here and test him in another way. What do you think EG are going to be doing with their bans? Because they've pretty much stuck with what they started with in this series.
Right, and they've had such success with it. They should continue to stick with what has worked here. I don't see them changing up too much with their bans. It's really on Determined right now to try and force EG into a bad spot and try and make them uncomfortable, because everyone talks about how, you know, Pobelter can go on tilt and can go on these random bad, super bad games. All they need is a couple of those to get right back in this.
What do you think about banning Olaf away from Snoopé potentially?
So Olaf, he's played well every game, but it hasn't been a game changer, I don't think. It hasn't had the big impact that's been getting EG into the point where they're extremely ahead early.
Okay, so I think that makes sense. Maybe stick a ban at Crepo, definitely ban the Ziggs, see what else Pobelter can play, and probably poke around one more in there as well. With the Mundo, of course, that you mentioned, that seems to be so strong. I think Determined going to be happy to have a ban back here in this one. I mean, any team would again, but they need everything they can get at this point. It is truly backs against the wall, as we are going to be getting into Champ Select here, but potentially our last game here with Evil Genius is up 2-0. Only potentially.
Yeah,
we'll have to see. I mean,
there could easily.
It's been so much fun, Kobe. I want to see more games as well. I'm sure the fans do, but we'll have to see what happens here. Gragas and Lee Sin, the same 2 bans.
All right, so they're just going to stay with what works. I like that. They want to have a repeat of the last 2 games, continue the trend. Meanwhile, DTG have not focused any bans on any of the things that any of our analysts have
We were
been
wrong,
talking about.
apparently. Cassidy and Siva, the first 2 bans coming out there. I mean, Cassidy was banned in the last game as well by EG, actually, so it's clearly a champion that these teams are thinking about and thinking about maybe first picking. Ooh, that is an interesting last ban from EG, targeting Broken Shard.
I feel like they want him on Vi.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of cornering him into that one. We'll see if he's still comfortable on that champion, or if he actually makes them pay for banning Jarvan instead of Vi.
Olaf picked up here as the first one for as the last ban for Determined Gaming, and EG, they've got a lot to think about here for first picks. You talked about in the last game, Kobe, you can throw a bunch of champions over. They've kind of done what you said, actually. Just leave up all the OPs.
All the top laners here are ready to be picked. We've got the Shyvana and the Mundo, and even the Nasus if they wanted to go for some kind of late game farming strategy here. Well, we do get to see Snoopy's secondary jungler. Like you talked about, you want an Olaf ban. We're going to get one right here. We'll have to see what else does he feel comfortable on.
I almost feel like EG have to snap up Ziggs at this point, but I don't think they want to, which is interesting. I mean, if we want to be fair about it, they actually have games to give away, if you want to talk about it like that. If they want to try something else, they can.
I don't think they're going to give away anything.
I mean, no. And this is, I think, is what they should do. They do first pick Ziggs.
All right, yeah. So Arthalon definitely is a Ziggs player as well. So that's definitely a good pick. And not wasting any time here for DTG, locking in 2 extremely high priority. We talked about leaving up a whole bunch of these top-rated picks. They snagged 2 of them, the Shyvana and the Lucian, both powerhouse picks for the respective lanes.
So the question, Kobe, which player on Determined is going to play Shyvana? Because last time it was Arthalon.
I think it will be Arthalon again. We'll have to see if they actually lock in an assassin for West Rice, and that will really show us what he's going to be playing. But they for sure locked in a Lucian, and that is an extremely powerful pick. Like we talked about when it was on the hands of Evil Geniuses, if you get a small lead in that lane, then he can really capitalize on it, and he needs a support that's a playmaker, so he can set him up to have those trades.
Yeah, and I think Annie is what everyone thinks of when you think about bottom lanes with Lucian. Lucian Annie's just so good, but I love this. I think Crepo, he's comfortable with Leona, quite obviously, but I think it's actually quite good against Annie as well.
And I love the combo of the Leona and the Jinx, because since Crepo loves doing that level 2 all-in, if Jinx levels up her Flame Choppers level 2, then she can chain that stun on top of the Zenith Blade and a Leona stun and completely lock someone down.
And we saw the aggression from EG really paying off in the early stages of Game 2 there, so we'll have to see what happens here. Is Determined Gaming going to consider their third and fourth picks now? And looks like Bubba maybe going to go back to Old Faithful here, but we'll have to see what they want to go for. They need to very carefully draft here as well. This is their potential final game.
Yeah, man, these bottom lane picks have just kind of been rotating around the very specific, powerful ones right now. Not too surprising, I guess. Something interesting could come in, though. Arthalon, like Crumbs was talking about, he was hoping we'd see something new, something exciting. Since Arthalon is such a versatile player, maybe they do give West Rice to Shyvana and give Arthalon the ability to make some plays with Lysandra.
He does have Lysandra, something we haven't seen in quite a while, so we'll have to see what happens here. They did go with Thresh as well for Bubba, and I think Crepo's happy with that. I mean, he, again, showed a lot of creativity playing against Thresh in the last game.
Trying to think who they actually want to lane against Ziggs, because even Lysandra will get pushed into turret. Ziggs can shove her just as easily as he can shove Orianna.
They have the option of putting Shyvana jungle here, because they haven't picked a jungler yet.
That's true.
So they could be last picking for Arthalon, sorry, and have West Rice on Lysandra.
Maybe they're just counting on ganking Pobelter quite early on that Ziggs and capitalizing that way, because Lysandra, she does have the ability to set up ganks very well. She's got mobility very early, pre-6. She also has lockdowns.
And I was going to say, I'd like to see Elise actually from Determined as a result, but they actually get snapped up by EG as Snoopy. That's his next jungler, apparently.
Yeah, there's the secondary jungler. Very, very strong early game jungler for them. He can get lanes going very, very quickly, especially a lane like a Leona lane, where we talked about the amount of CC that Leona Jinx can bring to the table. If you add an Elise into that equation, it's extremely deadly.
So I have to ask you, they've actually let Mundo fall through the picks here, it seems like, because they had the option of picking it. And with Shyvana, they know that it's probably not going to get picked, although it could still get picked here. But they've gone with Renekton instead of the more standard, I guess, Dr. Mundo.
I think they're just asking West Rice to show what he's got. Is he going to play a top lane tank? He's kind of daring him to play a top lane tank here.
Oh, wow. Akali gets locked in there, and you can hear the crowd shiver. I mean, if your back's against the wall, I think you absolutely go to a comfort champion like Akali.
All right, like I said, West Rice has been playing Akali for over 4 years here. He's well-versed in how you want to play this champion. Against Renekton, it's a very difficult 1v1 lane. They might be looking for a 2v1 switch, which is difficult to pull off because Evil Geniuses would probably avoid that. And West Rice here, on that Akali, if he does end up in the same lane as Renekton, it's probably going to be a slow early game for him, sitting back, trying to CS from afar with the assassin marks.
Yeah, I mean, I actually saw West Rice's Akali in one of the NACL games. He managed to survive a 3v1 dive twice using Twilight Shroud. I mean, he knows he's a champion through and through.
I feel like if you survive a 3v1 tower dive like that with Akali, it's just poorly played by your opponents, because if they dive an Akali and don't bring vision, she's gonna shroud, so I feel like that's your fault if you mess that one up.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Elise here as well, another aggressive jungler being played by Snoopy in this one for EG. I mean, we didn't quite see him go crazy and gank a lot, but he could potentially do that here in this game.
This is definitely a jungler that's going to have a lot more early game impact than Olaf, than he did on the Olaf. Even though Olaf with the Ghost has, you know, maybe one very terrifying gank in him, Elise has pretty much infinite terrifying ganks, especially on the mid lane, because there's so many angles that you can go to as Elise, hide in the fog of war, and throw out a full range cocoon that will hit a mid laner, because the mid laners have to CS very short distance from that fog of war.
And I mean, that's bad news for Arthalon, unfortunately, because he's been getting punished by Pobelter Ziggs pretty much this entire series. So We'll have to see what happens.
And Pobelter has actually been doing a good job of setting up kills with his satchel charge, too. So if he uses that offensively, then it would be extremely hard for Arthalon. But Arthalon's taking teleport here. He might actually switch up, go top.
I mean, and this is what we saw when we saw Westrice on Akali. They were effectively trading lanes here. Arthalon would go and be a top laner, and Westrice would usually be a mid laner. So if that does happen, how do you think about that matchup, Kobe? Because it would be Akali versus Ziggs instead.
All right, so Akali will get shoved even harder because she is melee range there. But that's something that you're willing to sacrifice if you are an Akali main like Westrice. He knows he'll be a little bit behind in CS during the early game. It's something that you're willing to accept when you play something like Fizz in the mid lane, because he is melee, he is an assassin. You're banking on the fact that your kill potential is going to be more worthwhile. Wow, I just saw something I have not seen in a competitive game, and it is Broken Shard starting with the shield mastery. I don't even know what that thing is called because I've never gotten it, and I've never seen anyone use it in a serious game.
I mean, that's interesting. I wonder what he's got planned here.
So you only get that shield back when you die and return to base. You get it once when the game starts, and then whenever you die. So he might be planning on taking a lot of trips to the fountain, which is not usually a good strategy.
Not often, but we'll see if it works out here. Game 3 is underway here between Evil Geniuses and Determined Gaming. EG are up 2-0 in this series, Kobe, looking very strong, and they really want to power through here and sweep their way into the LCS.
That would be pretty much Crepo's dream right now, sweeping, because they thought it was going to be hard. They thought it was going to be very hard. He was not even that confident coming into this set. They were very, very worried about this DTG team.
And it's interesting when you see them on camera, kind of the body language between the two teams. EG, very serious, very focused, still saying, no, we still need to win one more game. We still determined. They just looked absolutely wrecked emotionally. Did not look happy at all. Looks like nothing too crazy is happening for early Invader. Lots of wards, though, out on the map, Kirby. Lots of trinkets everywhere.
Yeah, and we also have a red side start for Broken Shard. In the new jungles, a lot of people just automatically start whatever side their AD carry and support are on, just for extra damage for the leash, because Smite is less damage now. But he's actually starting on the red side, so EG actually won't really expect that, and he might be trying to pull just some very sneaky play with that early shield from his mastery. It looks like the Arthalon's going to take the easy route and get some jungle experience while his lane is being frozen by the AD and support.
Yeah, but both top lanes actually doing that. So it looks like we're going to have two different 1v2s here. Renekton down the bottom likely there. Inox is going to go back now. Does a bit of funky pathing there to Snoopy, but he's okay. And Westrice actually rotating up now. So I mentioned it before. They seem to like putting Akali in 2v1s because you can be pretty safe there again from the tower dives unless we bring vision.
And they were actually not expecting that one. They had Arthalon up top. They thought it was going to be the Renekton up there. But Renekton here, Inox, was also getting jungle experience. And he was also waiting for his lane, his duo lane to push up there.
So the early laning, pretty interesting here between the two, but looks like we are going to shake it out and have two different 2v1s here. So in game 1 we had a lot of turrets getting pushed down very, very quickly. So we'll see what happens if Inox arrives just in time here as the wave's starting to push in. He'll start picking up some experience, and there we go, level 2.
All right, so both the solos are level 2 here. It is a bit harder for this duo to dive at this early of the level, because you already talked about how you can throw down that Twilight Shard and just go invisible. So it kind of negates the early game kill potential that Leona has, because if she goes in under a turret, then she's going to go in all the way.
Oh, Pobelter could be in trouble here as Broken Shard's moving through. Big amount of damage. Satchel Charge pops off though. Doesn't quite want to use his splash and doesn't need to. Very nice play there from Ziggs.
Yeah, Arthalon not quite able to set that one how he wanted, and since Shyvana doesn't have CC of her own, that's going to mean the end of that gank.
Yeah, and I mean, Broken Shard here, Shyvana's a decent diving champion, but you don't bring a whole lot of CC to the party when you come through. So if you're diving, it's good, but you play well, use your CC intelligently when you get dove, it's not too bad. It looks like both junglers actually going to settle into babysit instead of 3v1 pushing this time.
Right, so they are going to share some experience as well. Inox again. And remember, you get bonus lane experience from minions if there's 2 people there, but that doesn't actually work with jungle minions, so they're just being nice and sharing it between themselves, even 50-50.
Increasing the team synergy even more by sharing some minions here as Inox going to get pushed in here, but I have to think Jinx, if you're looking for just straight push, must be the better pushing champion.
I mean, it's actually pretty even there because Lucian does have a very good passive for taking down turrets as well. You know, he can get double shots off on turrets just as easily as minions. Jinx, I love the attack speed, you know, on her Q for that, but it's pretty even right there.
I mean, wave clear is pretty equal between the two as well with their respective Qs. So Pobelter here going to push in. He's definitely going to be solo pushing once again. I mean, Arthalon already forced out of lane.
Yeah, talking about pushing down turrets. Ziggs, again, no surprise there. Same story as last game. Able to shove his lane into the turret. And something that's noted about this Elise jungle, she's a ranged champion. So if she goes from the jungle over to a lane like that, she can shove it as well. She's going for a gank right now, though. Right on Robert.
Yeah, going to move in. Snooper here looking for Bowen, though Robert could be in trouble. Dives on top there, Lantern out. Repel, though, does happen, but he's very low. Oh, and Bubba, that was a really nice prediction there. I think, no, trying to hook Enox, actually, but I like Snooper's decision to not go. He would have died for sure.
Yeah, Snooper did not want to give over that red buff. They were able to force Robert out of the lane, but they're looking to pick up a kill on the support here. Bubba Dub still has Flash, though.
Has to be careful. No Ignite here either in this pairing, so Thresh reasonably tanky, especially with that Doran shield.
It's probably going to be
okay. Yeah, he's going to go through there. Snoope finding a stun, does get it there. The damage does go down there, and they'll chase him under, but not quite enough damage, unfortunately.
Hooks the spider. All right, so the old little spider link going to block the hook there for Inox, so he doesn't end up taking any tower damage, and that's going to be a pretty successful little bit of harassment. But as Robert returns to the lane, they're not going to want to get anything else.
No, just managed to push it in. Unfortunately, Lucian already back to lane is going to mean that probably not going to deny too much CS. Their Vampiric Scepter up now as well for Robert Exley, so he'll have a bit more fun there if he does get poked down and maybe able to fight a little better if Snoop returns once again here. Pobelter really hammering it on here in the mid once again. Oh, nice satchel there again. Ignite actually used it. Arthur going to pop away, but a great ult there from Zig. Pobelter bouncing bomb picks up first blood.
Pobelter was not tricked in the slightest by the little pump fake there from Arthalon walking the other way. Able to pick that one up. Long range ulti there, and he already had the Ignite on him. Able to finish it up with a Q.
And Pobelter once again off to a great start here in Game 3. And Arthalon, for whatever reason, just has not found a counter at this point. Every champion he's played up against, he's struggled with.
Yeah, they're struggling so hard to find an answer to the Zig instead of just banning it. And it's interesting because they had the opportunity this time and decided that it still was not ban-worthy.
Meanwhile, up towards the top lane, EG pushing in still here, trying to get this turret down. No turrets felled yet here, but first blood did go to EG just a few moments ago. And I did spot a nice little one in the inventory of Snoope actually here. If they want to try and go into the Sakali.
Yeah, so we talked about diving Akali without pink wards. That's your fault if you mess that up and die 3 vs 1. But he's going to bring one. Plus, as we just saw there, the W from Yellow Pete on Jinx, the Zap will reveal Westrise. So they have multiple vision options. And Westrise knows this, does not want to stick around.
And I love this rotation from EG that's moving up towards the top lane. Snoope, if they want to dive, they can go in for it. In fact, Westrise should not be standing in that spot.
He was doing a pretty tricky little thing right there. He was just barely inside of experience range. That's why he was just hiding around the edge. And he was able to leech one minion right there and grab level 6.
The early tower does get taken out for EG. The bottom tower pretty healthy here though as well, as Inox has been able to defend that reasonably nicely. And of course, Pobelter, he's just shoving all day, every day.
Yeah, Pobelter on Ziggs again means that there's no presence mid for Determined. And that means that Broken Shard cannot counter jungle with Shyvana. Shyvana's not the best at ganking. She's best at destroying jungles. And with no jungle pressure from the mid, no backup, it means that he's going to have to stay in his own jungle and just farm up his own.
As Inox here, going to back off there down towards the bottom lane. 4-man push now for EG. Really trying to get the fast push going on this one. I mean, again, they've got great siege. Elise is fantastic in sieges. You can just throw out cocoons. And if you hit somebody, you can do a ton of damage. Yeah,
that's what I was talking about with the ranged junglers. A lot of people were very excited. Oh, here goes Crepo.
Broken Shard going in. Crepo, great ult there on Leona. He's going to pick up credit for that kill. Satchel charging there for Pobelter as the Bobbin completely caught off there. He's forced to walk a long way around back towards his turret. But he'll get out there. Again, Crepo's on point.
Yeah, that was just a bad idea. You do not want to go attack that grouping of EG. They were all ready for that one, and Broken Shard gets caught out away from the rest of the team. Again, Lantern thrown out, but he was also stunned up, and the Lantern was blocked. not able to escape.
So the story continues here for Evil Geniuses, up 2,000 gold or more, actually about 2,500 here early on in this game, and that's without the first Dragon, Kobe. So they've been off to some pretty good starts in the first 2 games. This is their best yet.
The games just keep getting even more and more convincing in favor of EG here. Really looking like they deserve a set.
We'll see here. Early days still here in this one, but Determined absolutely have to fight for every inch at this point. There are no more games left to give, unfortunately, for them, as Robert Exley caught by the Cocoon there for Snooper. Enox going on the top. The Repel there follows through as well. And it was a great cleanse there from Exley, but not enough.
I like that no hesitation from Snoope, even though Robert was still moving up, and he could have even gotten deeper in the lane. Because Snoope knew that he was already on a path and he could land that Cocoon no matter what, took the shot, and they're able to capitalize.
And for me, that's one of the things that really describes EG's play throughout this entire set so far. Decisive. They are really, really just making quick decisions. Oh no, Cocoon landing on the thresh. The dive will happen again. Pobelts are getting chased down there as well, but he's going to be okay. Deathsender gets blocked by the Repel actually, as they're going to keep moving in. Now Arthlon coming through, picks up the kills as Zigzot's coming over the top. Enox as well, really caught in a bad spot. He's going to get taken out by Broken Shard.
Yeah, I was going to say the duo for EG was up top, but now they're not even done here. Arthalon's moving on. Pobelter, can he win this time?
No, can't quite get the 1v1. Ignite moving down there onto Arthalon. And Determined going to go for this Dragon now as well. They needed to fight back, Kobe, and they are.
That was a terrible decision right there from EG. Like I just was about to say, their duo was up top right there. And that was a 3-man going aggressive on to the entire team of Determined. They paid for it, and it was a little bit of what Determined needed to get back in this game.
EG do get the trade there after, though. Take out the tower in the top lane there. So 2-0 up in turrets, still just under 2,000 gold ahead. And that seems to be the lead that EG feel comfortable with, given the way they've been playing already in this series. So they'll be happy, but again, it was kind of one mistake from Determined and then one there from EG.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty close still, even though EG have the good lead here. We'll have to see if this Westrise Akali can pay off and start snowballing, because yes, they knew that they were probably going to give up that early game with that pick, and so going into a 2-1, they're like, yeah, both of the solo laners will probably be down in CS, but we're banking on the mid game, him being able to catch people out and chase them down with the 3 dashes of her ult available. She's extremely good at capitalizing on any sort of pick.
It's kind of interesting, actually, with Akali, because with the way EG have been playing, never mind as Crepo's going in to get Broken Shard caught out this time. Crepo, great combo there with the Zenith Blade plus Soul Flare, but they can't quite get the kill done.
And it's going to be real hard for him to defend this turret, too. Even though Shyvana does have decent wave clear, 3 members is a lot.
Broken Shard caught there again. Zenith Blade does hit on this super mega death rocket. Comes out there, and Crepo's trying to chase it down, but EG very smartly playing will take the tower. Poke there onto Robert X. Lee, and they'll get out safely.
So Snoope focuses on the turret, and they get the turret down, but it means that Broken Shot get away with a little bit life. However, they escape before the rest of Determined get to the area, so nobody loses their life.
And we've seen very experienced decision-making from EG in general, I feel like. They've just backed away, they've played very safe and very decisively, but they've never really overcommitted here. As Westrise, Satchel Charge, Repel going to move through, Zenith Blade on top, Pinkwell down on top of his corpse, and he's very, very dead as Yellow Pete's going to take that one out.
There it is, keeping that pink ward in your inventory. You'll be able to use it sooner or later, and they grab Westrise mid, plus that's going to be the turret.
And just such great rotations across the board here for EG. Again, we can't stop saying it. They're playing so cohesively. They're playing like a team that's been together for 2 years, not 2 days, almost 2 weeks maybe.
Oh, the Cocoon land.
Bobbin getting caught there. Satchel Charge moving through his arm. Pobelter slays another one as Broken Shark could be in trouble. Eats the Chomper for his troubles. But EG just going to continue pushing through now.
All right, so EG, yeah, we talked about how, they look like they're playing so cohesively. I feel like you give up so much map pressure when you keep giving Pobelter the Ziggs. Everyone always talks about how important the mid turrets are, and Ziggs with his constant pushing and not being kept in check by any ganks from a Shyvana who doesn't have CC. It frees up Pobelter to really gain a lot of map pressure just from that mid area, and Snoop has done a great job of capitalizing on it.
Yep, so Westrise now going to farm things up as Akali on the way to his Hextech Gunblade, which is his item of choice on Akali, and he's been playing it for so long, I'm not going to question that at all.
It's a fun item to get on her, as well as playing to her hybrid strength, so definitely think that is a good pickup. Plus, it does give her the opportunity to add a slow to your kit, so when you do catch someone with those dashes, finish them off.
It's almost like you get an extra Shadow Dash when you've got the slow there, but items are plenty for EG here as well with their few thousand gold up. Got Athene's already finished there for Ziggs. Bloodthirster up now for Jinx in there as well. Renekton on the way to kind of half of the two items he really wants here. He's got Sunfire Cape on the way with Giant Spell, and he's got Spirit Visage on the way with his Negatron Cloak here. And Snoop as well, not doing anything fancy. We saw Dexter going for a little bit more aggressive with his build. Got the Haunted Guys, had the Abyssal Scepter. Very straightforward, very tanky for him.
Yeah, he's the least. He hasn't been too heavy on the farm. At least more about pressuring the lanes, getting those ganks off. But yeah, also hasn't been landing the killing blows for those ganks. So a little light on cash, just going with the conservative build.
And one thing I did want to mention before Akali got blown up by the pink ward is that EG has never mind Broken Shard. He's going to get caught up here as well. Snooper here going to chase through. Crepe now trying to get it done. And this is the jungler against effectively the two supports. The first Miss Leona ultimate.
So he led that one a little too much. Arthalon, though, in a sticky spot here.
Yeah, Arthalon, he's absolutely in trouble here. Enoch's going to be able to chase him now. Good flash, actually, but flash forward. Great snare there from Arthalon. And no slash there to close the gap. Oh, no! Pomelter! Oh, beautiful ultimate to save himself there. And Enoch wants the kill. He picks it up. Now he's on to Westrise. He's 2 levels ahead as Bubba gets out of the Zenith blade. Yellow Pink flashing forward to pick up that kill. And EG all of a sudden open up the map as Enoch getting chased down now as well. 2v1 up against Westrise. He's almost going to take him out, but Broken Shard gets the kill. But EG chasing down the mid lane once more.
Determined to answer with 1 kill, but this is an inhibitor turret going down for EG. That is huge.
And we mentioned it before, they seem to only be getting stronger as they play this series. Didn't get the inhibitor, unfortunately, but did get the turret, as you mentioned. And this is the biggest leads they've had yet, and they've looked so good already.
That was a pretty epic chase up there with Inox on Arthalon. A lot of answers there from Arthalon, but he did not have the last day. Ended up going down anyway.
So what I was trying to mention is that when you have an Akali, it's a little awkward when you're up against a team that seems to always buy 3 quick red trinkets.
Yeah, they have been very coordinated with their sweeper purchases as well. Timing those very, very well with the amount of map control that they need and that they have been able to already establish. So if you got the upgraded Sightstone here for Crepo, then they've got plenty of wards that they're going to be able to throw down, and they'd rather grab the vision denial with the sweepers.
Yeah. Now Lissandra, a bit of a different mid laner as well that we don't see nearly as often as we see Ziggs, certainly, in recent memory. I want to ask you, Kobe, what do you think of Arthalon's choice to go DFG here on Lissandra?
DFG Lissandra has the potential that they need for picking someone off. But if he keeps getting initiated like that, then he's not going to have the opportunity.
Super Mega Death Rocket coming in there. The Dragon does get cleaned up by Broken Shard. The Soulfire is going to find Bubba Up. Culling pops up there for Lucian. That's a very dead thresh now as Broken Shard getting chased down as well. Beautiful minefield there from Pobelter to zone out Westrise. And now Robert Exley is very much in trouble. Inox is going to go over the top there, at least with a double kill actually, as Arthalon's going to go down off towards the back as well. And now looking for a third is Snoope. Robert Exley, that's, yeah. I mean, he gives it up. He knows that he can't go anywhere. A triple kill for Snoope.
Broken Shard also nowhere to go. Trying to port home, but Inox is on the case. Not going to let him out.
And Westrise is farming his wolves with EG in his own jungle. Determined Gaming absolutely scattered here, it seems, in this third game here. And Crepa's going to lock him up. Cocoon lands, pink one immediately down. And EG.
Man, they have all the answers right now. They are looking so dominant in this game. They want that clean sweep.
And they looking like they're going to be able to get it here as well, Kobe. Huge gold lead out already, 7,000 gold ahead for the Evil Geniuses. Looking for a sweep. I expected Determined to maybe drop a game here as we're going to have a replay.
All right, so let's look at this again. Bubba just gets destroyed by the Crepo and Snoopy combo, and then this entire DTG team is running for their lives. They're all split up. There's nothing that they could possibly hope for at that point except for trying to get away. And pretty much everybody does end up getting caught out. Anyway, Robert tries.
Yeah, he realizes that he's just done at that point. I actually like that play a lot from Robert, just being like, yeah, okay, I have nowhere to go, so I'm just going to give it up here. Yellow Pete up towards the top, going to clear them out, going to push everything out of the way there. But Evil Geniuses, I mean, Determined again, the team that nobody wanted to play against. EG, completely new roster who didn't even seem to have that much confidence in themselves when we were talking to them. But really shown up here. Snoope said it. Anyone can win on the day, and they're looking amazing today.
I know, it looks like they're gonna, try and put a little fear into the other LCS teams. Winning with some good style.
Looks like Jinx looked for the steal there on the red buff, but doesn't quite get it. Robert Exley will be able to clean that one up for himself. Rabadon's death cap on the way potentially for Ziggs, although he could build a DFG with that as well. So Pobelt he's feeling good.
It's possible. Ziggs, you know, not usually one to get super close and use DFG style stuff, but he could just because he wants to answer Arthalon and you know, say whatever you can do, I can do better.
Maybe he's Crepo going to get himself death sentence, but he'll shake all that off here. EG really just trying to complete their hold on this game and close out the third and final game that they would need to sweep this series here. Inox getting very aggressive there. He knew he was 1v2. But he's actually 1v3.
So it's actually part of the composition that EG have picked up here. It's an aggressive composition. It's a lane shoving comp because you take Renekton, you know he's going to win that lane early if he goes into a 1v1. They actually choose, you know, going into the 2v1 situation, but they combo that with the Ziggs as well, who's going to win his lane and he's going to shove his lane in. So if you shove all of your lanes at the same time, then you remove a lot of the downside of that strategy, which is the possibility of killing.
Oh, that's a great scene. The play for Buffendov. He's very dead as Inox picks up that kill with the Mega Inferno Bomb coming in over the top. And time again, Crepo's just catching people. Broken shot! No, he want to be instant flash stun there from Crepo with the Shield of Daybreak. And he got away, but that was so decisive from him.
Yeah, Crepo's been doing pretty well on Leona today. I'd have to say he's keeping it up in this game as well. Even though they don't get the kill for the flash stun onto the dragon, they're still going to be able to take the turret. They grab the objective, and they're going to back off.
I mean, one of the biggest compliments people have for a lot of Chinese and Korean teams is that they seem so strong. They always seem to go in together no matter what happens. If somebody flashes, everybody's flashing, and you're trying to get that kill. EG are really showing me that here today. Someone's just going in and everybody's trusting the call.
That's definitely something that I was worried about with this team too, because, you know, coming in with trying to work Inox and Pobelter into the situation, especially with Pobelter still having to deal with school stuff, you know, they don't have a whole lot of time to work on that communication and that trust that you have to have in your teammates. Seems like everybody trusts Crepo though, so you can agree on that.
Well, I mean, he's a very lovable guy, so I'm not surprised that the team trusts Crepo here as EG are going to clear out some buffs for himself. Inox going to collect the red buff actually, which will make his Renekton even scarier, and it's looking pretty beefy right now here. Crepo on vision duty, just clearing out as much as he can. Bubba trying to stem the bleeding of the vision wall here, cleaning out what he can in his own jungle. And looks like, I don't know what Pobelt is building, by the way, but it's going to be fancy, whatever it is. He's probably got a ton of gold ready to go. On EG, I think they're going to do it again.
Yeah, probably. Pace of Drum, good call, good call. we'll let that one pass. Oh yeah, they get the ward kill.
Does get taken out. There's Crepo again with the Xena play, bouncing bomb over the top. Super Mega Death Rocket and the Mega Inferno Bomb is broken shot. Is in a whole lot of trouble now as well, getting chased down, taking a ton of damage here. Pobelter actually gets jumped up by Westrise. He goes down as Bubba cleans it up, but here comes Inox with the teleport on top of Westrise. Ward instantly to render. No, he gets out. No, he doesn't. Yellow Pete there does manage to clean him out now as Bubba trying to flay away for his life, but he looks like he's going to go down as well, and does as Snoopy gets yet another kill. And Robert Exley, he may live here, but only to tell the tale.
All right, so that's why everybody trusts Crepo. Another find for him, another pick, more kills for EG, and they've got full reign of this determined base. It looks like they're just going to start tanking up turrets.
Tanking with the face is Inox there. They're going to trade tank around as well with Snoopy, and even Leona now at this point as well for Crepo can choose to do it. Determined Gaming back off. Respawn time is still very short at this point in the game, Kobe.
All right, but without Pobelter, they decide to back off. So even though at this point, they're 2 games up in this series, they're 16-5 in kills in the 3rd game, they still do not want to risk it. They still are playing very calmly. Look at Yellow Pete. That face is a picture of calm.
And again, that's the experience that EG really bring to this stage for their new teammates here, Inox and Pobelter. We were asking ourselves, what does EG look like when they bring new blood in, but they have so much experience and the chemistry that they already built for themselves?
I guess they look like Fnatic, setting up a bush gank right there. The old Fnatic bush.
I mean, Crepo for all his...
Looks like they're going for Westrise with it. Oh, they're on the move.
Looks like they are. The EG train is in at full speed right now as Westrise. He doesn't have anywhere to run. Gets either played up blind there by Crepo, and he's going to hide as best he can. There's the ward going down finally. And Inox, oh no, they don't have one actually. Good slow there as well, coming out for Westrise. Maybe he can live it. Repel out on top there. Westrise trying to drink out of the way. The Death Rocket doesn't quite hit. The Xena play misses. The Lantern's down, but it's not enough.
So they didn't have a pink ward for that one. It took a little bit longer, but they're finally able to capture Westrise as well.
They get yet another kill for themselves. 17-5 for EG there. 10,000 gold once again in the lead here. 7-1 in turrets. Bob it up looking for a hook. Finds Inox. That's not really who he wants. The Sandra. Thinking about going over the top, but that's a bad idea.
Yeah, not going to go on that one, and here comes Inox.
Arsenal, they're getting bombed down to Snoopy. Gets yet another kill. Bob it up now. Taking all the fire as Yellow Pig gets the turret and the kill for his trouble. And EG Snoopy just chasing down Broken
So
Shot.
Snoopy is legendary, by the way, right now on that Elise.
Kills Shyvana mid-ultimate as well with Venomous Bite. And EG, I think they've done it here. They're going to push through for what looks like the third and final game here. Evil Geniuses, you came from Europe, welcome to NA, and they're going to well and truly sweep their way into the LCS.
Congratulations to EG, Pobelter and Inox, removing all doubt that anyone had about their play. Really nicely played.
And we were wondering which EG was going to show up. It was an incredible EG there. Look at Crepo. So happy to be through there. And they should be. That was an outstanding performance by Evil Geniuses.
There it goes. Now they're in. Now they can celebrate.
And they really should. That was the one thing we wanted to ask ourselves the entire time leading up to this match. What do Evil Geniuses really look like when we haven't seen them play yet with this roster?
They look like winners.
They look happy. They do look like winners. It's Broken Shot. I mean, determined. They would have had high hopes coming into this match, but not the way it was meant to be, it seems like.
All right, so we do have our first new team in the North American LCS. Interested to see what's going to happen in the next couple days because we have some more pretty interesting matches here coming up with Coast and Curse both trying to defend their spots.
That's true, and it's going to be a great weekend for League of Legends Go. But let's look back at that game now. There we go, the Evil Geniuses. Give them a round of applause. They absolutely deserve it for that performance there. Looking stellar, Kobe. I think we're running out of adjectives to describe this team today.
Well, exactly. Like they definitely removed the doubt. Everybody was coming into this with all of the intel on their scrims coming back with such negative results. Wow, they showed up today so big and just kind of crushed the tournament.
We did. I mean, who do you give MVP to, though? Because there was so everyone played well, but...
I think that's going to have to be shared all around because, you know, yes, Pobelter dominated with Ziggs. Yes, Crepo dominated with Leone. And also Annie. And then Snoopy went legendary. All right, well, the crowd looks like they want to give it to Crepo. Maybe that's just because he's on screen.
Maybe, I think so. But looking back here, what could we say about this team moving into the LCS? They look cohesive.
I'd say ban Ziggs.
That's a good start.
Other LCS teams that are watching, ban Ziggs.
Ban Ziggs, guys. He's really good.
Even though there's going to be a couple more patches, Ziggs hasn't been hit yet in the new patches. So it'll be a similar result.
That's true. But just in general, I think really strong teamwork, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Some strong performances from Inox and Pobelter in their solo lanes. Filling very big shoes, by the way, of Froggen and Wicked. And just aggression, weirdly enough. They actually looked fairly aggressive.
So it's interesting you bring up the shoes because you know the other half of EG, the one that's still over in Europe, Wicked and Froggen on Alliance, they crushed in their games. Even though it was Battle Atlantic and it wasn't a promotion, they crushed as well. So even if you split up EG, they're still winning on both sides of the pond.
I mean, looking really strong here. I mean, they'll be happy to know that Alliance won last weekend, and they'll be very happy to be here in the NALCS as well. Congratulations once again to EG, just looking so good. I mean, I want to break down the games a little more, but I don't know what else to say. We kind of said it all already.
I just want to again point out the communication because that was what's so surprising to me. You're talking about how they all immediately jump on a call. If one person flashes, everybody flashes. So they'll follow Crepo, but they also were able to coordinate a Baron steal with just the Annie and the Ziggs. I think that was one of the most impressive because Ziggs, that's a very long ultimate to try and time in your head.
Yeah, I mean, Pobelter showed up, so did the rest of EG, looking really strong there. But we're going to send it down to the stage where Shocked is standing by with the LCS-bound Evil Geniuses.
Thank you very much, Pace 3-time. First off, congratulations on your win. A little applause here for EG, guys. Very happy players here, of course, obviously, Snoopy. I mean, winning here, that's maybe something that a lot of people had predicted, but were you surprised that you took it a 3-0 sweep?
Yeah, for sure. Like, coming into this last 3 weeks, we've been in the States for 3 weeks now. We've been practicing a lot. But the last 3 weeks, not counting last night, we lost pretty much all scrims. We were doing so bad in practice. And it wasn't until last night, with a couple of scrims, we won like all of our scrims last night, and it gave us like a new sense of confidence coming into today. the last 3 weeks, I was genuinely worried that we weren't going to make it. And everyone, like, there was some Reddit threads predicting we might not because TBD was so strong. And they're really good players. Like, commend them, guys. Give them a round of applause for TBD. Or DTG, whatever it is.
Determined Gaming. Of course, in the first game, they kind of put up a fight, but it seemed like you guys just got rolling. Tell me a little bit about that new synergy you had to find, letting go of 2 players that you played with for so long and getting 2 new ones.
Yeah, well, it was a conscious thing for the last year. Like, I always wanted to go to America, and now I wanted to make it happen. And Frog and Wicked, they wanted to stay back in Europe. They have family back there. Like, they love the EU LCS and things like that. They want to stay in Europe, so that's just had to be. Like, us 3 guys here moved to the States, picked up Inox and Paul Bettler, and they're great players. You're chasing me.
Yeah, well, very good to see you guys doing good here as well. Of course, this is only just the first hurdle. You had the entire NA LCS season now. What do you think realistically is your goal there, and what success can you get?
I think judging on the past 3 weeks being very, very shaky, I'm not going to set my sights too high right now. I'm actually going to take each day as it comes, each week as it comes at the moment. Today was promising. He's chasing me around still. Yeah. Today was promising, but we need to take each day as it comes and each week as it comes, starting on January 17th.
Yeah. But now, is there anything you want to say to your fans? Because it seems like you've gone across the Atlantic, but all your fans are still here.
A Scottish comrade down there. Nice. No, thanks very much, guys, for supporting us. I know it's sad we split up. Like, we're no longer the Fries EU or CLG or whatever it is, but thanks very much for continuing to support us. Support the guys out in Europe as well, Froggen and Wicked, and support our new team as well here in the NA. We'll try and do you proud.
Well, congratulations once again. Fantastic performance. Good luck in the NA LCS. And now for more on the Evil Geniuses' impressive 3-game sweep, let's send it over to Riv, Freak, and Crumbs at the Analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Shocks. And guys, the Evil Geniuses looked quite impressive in their 3-game sweep of Determined Gaming. Crepo had some great ultimates starting off on this one. What were you guys thinking once he got Leona? A lot of people thought it could be treacherous for them because it may be too much all-in, but he seemed to be back in form.
You know, the first game, seeing him Leona, I wasn't going to be expecting too much. It's the first game when you see these teams, you need to feel them out, see how he's going to do work on it. Now, the last game, after the first 2 wins, when he got Leona, right there, you know something's going to happen, that they're going to be able to do plays with Leona, and they made it happen. You know, Leona was involved in a large part of the kills and snowballed the game really well for them, even though she was put in the 2v1 lane.
And Crumbs, I want to talk a little bit more real quick about comfort, and Freak, chime in on this as well, because I think it's something we saw right in the beginning. Crepo was calm after that first game. He sat there and they knew they had to win another. The second game, everybody was calm. What does this mean, and how does that kind of transfer into your games?
You know, you can't put aside the fact that the EG lineup has had endlessly more experience than Determined's lineup. They've played in Worlds. They've played multiple LCS. They've played practically every league event that has happened. So they have a lot of experience. You know, nerves aren't going to get to them. They've already qualified through things like these before. Determined hasn't really had that experience. And games like these are the ones that get you the most nervous, the ones where your lives are on the line, where there's so much more at stake.
Right.
Playing for Worlds isn't as nerve-wracking as playing for your job, your life, what's going to happen to you in the next year. So I think that really came into play what we saw today when Determined really didn't know what to do. They weren't a unit. They didn't show up.
Freak, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree with Crumbs right here. Basically, I feel like the EG lineup, especially the old EG players, really stepped up. I actually have to commend Snoopy a lot because a lot of people called him a bit of a weak link. You think back to the summer split, they actually tried out a new jungler in Shacker to see if they could improve their lineup's chances. He was subbed out for part of that season, and he stepped up huge throughout this series. Finally, in Game 3, as Olaf got banned, did even better on Elise. The EG group right here played better than they ever have before when the pressure was on, whereas you saw guys like Arthalon play worse than they normally do at home, and that was a really big factor, I think, here. These guys' experience meant a lot.
And that flows right into adaptation, really being able to figure out from game to game how to resolve the conflicts that you were having. And Crumbs, you didn't see that in Champion Select.
Exactly. You know, we saw in Game 2 that Determined got a ban taken away from them, but that should not affect the fact that they were not able to adapt each game with their bans and picks. Their picks did not mirror something that you'd say, okay, this is what happened in the first game, this is what happened in the second game. We need to change each game accordingly to what they're doing to beat us. They failed to recognize how EG beat them, and that eventually cost them in the last game. You know, we saw 3 games back-to-back of Ziggs. They even first picked, so EG, they recognized what was winning them the game. The Ziggs pick, they first picked it in the last game, and we saw at 5 minutes in, he had a 20 CS lead on Lissandra.
Exactly. I really want to stress that point because one of the bans that was spent here by Determined was on Kassadin. Now, Kassadin is a strong champion. I understand him being contested. I understand that being an important champion to pick for a team. But Determined was losing in the laning phase. They weren't losing in team fights. They weren't losing because they were getting out-roamed. They were losing because they lost their lane straight up, specifically Arthalon's lane, more than anyone else. And they still ban out the weak early game champion who spikes later. They leave the Ziggs open to bully out Arthalon's champion picks, right? His Gragas banned all 3 times, right? They got rid of Arthalon's comfort zone. And then even think forward to the rest of Champ Select here, where finally in Game 3, the 10th champion picked is Westrice's Akali. And it's like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out playing Akali. And that's fine, but ban the counter picks. They left Mundo up, but they didn't ban a Renekton. They left the lane bully mid lane Ziggs. They even sent him mid lane against Ziggs to go get like crushed. And that, I think, was a series of misplays in just terms of game planning by Determined.
Going down knowing you're firing your best guns, though.
Yeah.
As you feel it.
I mean, you have to recognize that your best guns may be a little bit outdated.
This is true, indeed. So now to wrap up day 1 of the North American Spring Promotion Tournament, let's send it over to Kobe and pastry time one more time at the Casters.
Thanks, Riv. And with their win in today's promotion series, the Evil Geniuses joined Cloud9, XDG, Team Solo Mid, Dignitas, and Counter Logic Gaming in the 2014 NALCS Spring Split.
All right, so I am predicting their first game in the LCS, they will have Ziggs banned against them, maybe Leona, and probably Mundo.
I think that's probably a safe bet, Kobe. And of course, coming up tomorrow, our coverage continues with the Battle of the Atlantic as the 2 third-place squads from the LCS Summer Split take to the Rift. It's ManCloud and XDG versus Alex Ich and Gambit.
Then we lock in the 7th spot in the Spring Split as Team Coast tries to win their way back into the LCS when they face off against the challengers, the Walking Zed.
Our broadcast of Day 2 of the Spring Promotion Tournament starts at 11 a.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central European Time. And that does it for Day 1. Congratulations to Team Alternate and Evil Geniuses on their big wins today. Now for myself, Kobe, Shox, Jat, Riv, Freak, and the entire live broadcast crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here on Saturday.
Elite mid. Nice! Don't shout. Nice! Good job, good job. Nearly from mid. Nice! Oh, nice. Oh, my God. But just one shot someone. Doesn't really matter who. Good job, dude. Is that? Nice! Take that. Nice! Good job, good job, good job. Nice, keep going. Cool, 3 seconds. I'm going to do this again. Just finish. Go on in. Just time. Kobe!
Nah, double it looks to be the second one. The calling comes out and it's just the end. Set a bit too far off. They blast it with the ignite. It's going to be the last barrel. They still get the kills in on this one. Yes, they can. And the double kill for him.
Be quiet to steal. Pogon's in range as well. The ultimate's coming in. He does steal it. He grabs the burn.
Nice!
We're coming, we're coming, we're coming.
Again, Ignite actually used it. I'm going to pop away, but a great ult there from Zig.
Bouncing ball picks up first blood. Welcome to NA, and they're going to well and truly sweep their way into the LCS.